Welcome. Today I'll show you how to generate a regression equation from a table of values, calculate predicted outputs using the regression equation, calculate the residual as well, and finally plot a residual scatter plot. This is an example from lesson 15.3, so let's get started. First of all, we need to enter in our table of values that we have in the problem. To do that, you open up Desmos to the graphing calculator. We need to click on this plus icon in the upper left corner of the screen, and we select Table. It automatically defaults to naming the table X1 and Y1. So we're going to go ahead and record our X values and our Y values. When you are typing in these values, make sure that you are typing in the correct numbers, because unfortunately, if you make a typo, then it will give you an incorrect answer later on in the process. So once you've typed in all of your numbers, make sure that you check over the numbers to be sure that they are accurate. Now that I've recorded these points, we need to adjust our window so that we can see them. Notice that our Y values are in the thousands, so you could spend a very long time scrolling out, or you could manually adjust the X and Y elements of the window that we're viewing. Or if you are working with a table, Desmos has this handy feature where you can hit zoom to fit, which will actually automatically recalibrate the window size so that you can easily see all of the data points. This is a very useful tool, and I recommend that you take advantage of this. Now that we have these data points, we need to tell Desmos to approximate an equation that represents this. For us, we will be using an exponential curve, which, just as a reminder, the exponential equation is always y equals a times b to the power of x. However, if we type this in, Desmos doesn't know what values to use for y, a, b, or x. So instead, we're going to use a modified version of that. So we want to tell Desmos to use the data points from the table. So we want to use x1 and y1. So we're going to say y1. And if you type out a variable followed immediately by a number with no space, Desmos will automatically make it a small number, which is handy. We are not going to use an equal sign. Instead, we're going to use this squiggle. It's found on the key just above the tab button on your keyboard. So y1 is approximately a times b to the power of x, but we want to use the x values in the table, so this will be x1. When we do this, Desmos will automatically calculate these values for us. But before we can get these parameters, there's one other thing we need to do first, and that is to turn on log mode. If you do not select this, your parameters will be slightly different. And if we turn this on and off, you'll see without it, my A value is 5020, but with it, my A value is 5011. So always make sure that you turn on the log mode. Otherwise, your answers will just be a little off because Desmos uses a different process to come up with these values for A and B. So we have our parameters. If we look back at these instructions, we're told to round A to the nearest whole number and round B to 3 decimal places. So this means my A value would be rounded, that would round down, so this would be 5011. And my B value would be 1.201 because the 5 would round up. So I'm going to go ahead and write out my equation just so that I have that handy. So I have y equals, instead of my A value, it'll be 5011 times my B value is 1.201, and this is all raised to the power of x. Now we can go ahead and use this equation to calculate our predicted outputs. To do that, we would take each of these x values, substitute them in place of x, and use a calculator to figure out what numbers we end up getting as a result. However, this process can be tedious, and on the test you won't have a lot of time to use the graphing calculator, so instead we can use Desmos. So to do this, we're going to basically type in this exact equation We're going to leave off the y equals because we want Desmos to calculate the y values. And instead of x, we're going to use x1 so that Desmos will automatically pull the x1 values from the table. So to get a new row, you just have to click somewhere on the table and arrow over until you're in a new column. Sorry, to get a new column. So I'm going to type this out. So I have 5,011 times 1.201 raised to the power of x1. And as I do this, we will automatically see some new points appearing on our curve. They should be close to the curve. They may be slightly off just because these predicted values are not exactly on the curve entirely since we are rounding. But it's okay if they're ever so slightly off the curve. So now I have my x1 values, my y1 values, so those are the original data points. I have my predicted values here. So I want to, according to these instructions, round the predicted outputs to the nearest whole number. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a moment to type out these, the rounded off version of these numbers. So now that I've recorded my predicted outputs, I now need to figure out the error. Our predicted values will not perfectly match up with the actual data from the table, but it should be close. So to figure out the residual, we need to calculate the difference between the original, the actual outputs, and the predicted outputs. You could do the subtraction yourself. Just type into a calculator 5,005 minus 5,011 and get out your result. You could also use Desmos if you wanted to. You could make a new column and type in the rounded off values. You could name this whatever you want. I will call it P for predicted. And so this would be my 5,011. And now I can tell my my table to take the y1 values and subtract the p values and figure out what the result is. So to do that, I can literally make a new column, say y1 minus p, and Desmos will immediately take the y1 values from each of the tables, from each of the rows, and subtract them and tell me what the error is. This is going to be my residual. If you were to plot the residuals, it will automatically create a new table. And you'll notice the value is close to what we calculated by hand, but it's slightly different because it's using the unrounded parameters and it's using the unrounded predicted values. So it's always going to be more accurate if you are going through and rounding the values yourself and subtracting it yourself, either using a calculator or using Desmos to subtract the y values minus the predicted values. Once we have recorded our errors, we will then create a scatter plot of our x values and the residual value. Now that I have my residual all recorded, I'm going to go ahead and create my residual scatter plot. So to do this, I'm going to take my X value and my residual and plot those as an XY coordinate. So to do this, you would need to set up the scale. Looking at these values, I see the farthest I ever go from the x-axis is negative 101. So if I were to skip count by 20, that would probably work for the vertical, for the y-axis. And I can just count it by ones along my x-axis. So you would go ahead and plot your points. 0, -6, that would be like somewhere right around here. 1, -8 would be somewhere right around here. 2, -25. If these are 20, that would be just around there, and so on and so forth. So the key thing here for the residual scatter plot is that you need to use your X value and then the residual. And this is going to be a scatter plot, so you do not need to worry about connecting any of the points. You can look at your notes to see other examples of how we created the residual scatter plots. I hope this process helps you feel more comfortable using Desmos to determine these different values. It's a very powerful tool, but there are a lot of steps to